All right, so first, I'm going to go over the not so meaty parts, and then I'm going to move to the text editor. So the very first thing I want to show you is this handy little free wireframing program. Now, for those, I don't know if everybody knows what wireframing is. Wireframing is basically a way of making your web page layout before you actually create it. A lot of people use pen and paper. That's good. That's perfectly fine. But to help you get used to a professional environment in which you will be using wireframing tools, here is a perfectly good and free wireframing tool that you can download and get off of this website, which I have linked in Slack. Next, there's a couple of other things that I wish somebody had told me. One of them is this. A lot of you are familiar with this already, but this is basically Unsplash, which is a huge, huge library of pictures that you can use completely for free. And it's saved me a million times. There's other ones online, and you can easily find those. But just for your convenience, here's one right here, and it's wonderful. So check that out. The next is I have actually four different color tools that I found particularly awesome to use. And so I'm going to share those with you. The first one is UI Gradients. Now, UI Gradients is actually kind of wonderful. It's a collection of gradient colors. It's very easy to use. Let me see if I can show you again what I just did. If you click up here, get CSS, you can copy that and then just put that into your CSS. And sometimes it'll have cute little messages up there like, you got it mastered. I don't know if you saw that. Excellent choice. It gives these little messages. But anyways, it has these wonderful, let me see if I can get it to stop that. There we go. It has all these different wonderful gradients. Firewatch, Slush, Frost. It's just a ton of gradient colors. Next, oh, this is one of my favorites. Next is Coolors. So Coolors is really awesome if you're trying to create a website with a certain color template that everything goes together. I think one of my very first obstacles that I came across when I was making my web page, and I'm talking about the most simple one I ever made, was the fact that my colors were really bad. I was using the stock colors. I wasn't using any hex colors or any RGB colors. I didn't know what I was doing. This is a wonderful matching tool that will give you all different kinds of options, and you can get like different ones all the time. It'll just generate them for you. It's completely free, like I said. It'll generate all these wonderful little swatches. And it's not only that, if you can, I don't have much time to show you, but if you can go ahead and grab a color that you like from a picture, say you have a main picture that you want to use to center your website around, you can grab one of the colors from that picture and you can use this website to generate that color palette. Yeah, that's extremely useful. And that's again on Slack. All right, next up is one of my favorites, ColorZilla. This is actually a plugin for Google Chrome, and I believe Mozilla Firefox has it, although I don't know that for sure. Basically, how you use it, I already have it installed on here, is let me find something. I'll use this one. You click up here where your color picker is, make it active, and then you can run it over any spot. Let me see, I just minimized it, there we go. You can run it over any spot and it will tell you the RGB color that you're at. It works for many different sites. Let me see if I can show you on like Coolors. I'll turn on my color picker. See, it shows me the exact RGB colors. So that's very useful. All right, next is, again, one that everybody's already seen, but if you're a beginner, you might not know about, the Adobe Color Wheel. Now, this site is particularly awesome because all these beautiful colors, if you want to get a feel for something just snazzy, make your own templates, it does have like a color swatch palette up here, and you can make your own crazy stuff. So I would definitely check that out. Next is another goodie, Google Fonts, much beloved by many web developers. Google Fonts provides a lot of fonts that aren't already on your computer. So like the famous Roboto and a couple of others. This one I'm also linking on, I've also linked on Slack. So you can get it here. All right, next, I'm going to provide here 2 different resources for if you get stuck. The first one is Mozilla Developer Network. So Mozilla Developer Network is a really, really great resource. When you're first starting out and you've got questions, always Google and you know, Stack Overflow. Those are great to ask questions on. But if you're looking for something and you want like some huge, awesome tutorial guidebook, basically that's what you get in Mozilla Developer Network and W3 Schools. My favorite is Mozilla Developer Network. They've got a lot of stuff here. They even have learning materials like Learn HTML, Learn CSS. If you have any questions on here, it's pretty easy to find. Search, I want to learn about the map function. Function. And then here you go. You can pull up this nice little list of things. You can click on it. It's really useful. Next is W3 Schools. Very similar to Mozilla, but one of the things I really like is, you see down here what says try it yourself? They have those all throughout their website, and it just tickles me because like this one, you don't have much functionality, but it shows you what that code looks like. Especially whenever you're working with like animations on here, W3 Schools has it where it has the code, you just click try it yourself, and it's interactive, and you can actually see the transitions happening. So like when I was trying to figure out what the heck is a media query, I went to W3 Schools, and they had these things where it was changing the color of the background depending on your size of your screen. You could do that. You could slide it back and forth, and it was fascinating for me. So I would definitely try W3 Schools. All right, next up is the meaty part of this, which is your text editor. Your text editors, we've got 2 main ones that are free that a lot of people use. Sublime Text. Sublime Text is the first one I'm going to cover here. It's extremely useful. You technically can buy it for $75. You probably should buy it for $75 if you go professional. But in the meantime, it is perfectly fine to use the free version. It's unlimited free. So basically 10 years from now, if you're still using Sublime Text and it's free, I think you're okay, unless something happens. And they've got a lot of really cool stuff. I'm not going to go too much into them though, because I actually found one that I prefer over Sublime Text. That's just an option if you want it. The one that I prefer is Brackets. Brackets is one of my favorites, partly because it's built on JavaScript. So if you're a beginner, it might be easier for you if you're starting from the HTML, CSS, JavaScript background to start with brackets. Sublime is fine and all, but Python, I mean, if you don't know it, might cause an issue if you're trying to make your own plugins. Brackets is great. for those that are just starting out and know nothing else than HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It's also a very useful tool in that it has something called Live Preview. Now I'm going to show you Live Preview, but first, before I do that, I'll give this some content. All right, going to give it a header. Hello. All right. Now up here, we have a little bit of a lightning bolt, Harry Potter-esque. Here you have your live preview. And with the newest update of brackets, the thing that I really like about the live preview that it didn't have before, again, this is with the newest update that came out in March, is that when I click an element in my code, it will highlight the same element in the code on the browser. So you see that? I just selected my H1 and it's highlighted on my browser. I select my body and it's selecting my body. This is a really nice functionality that I'm very happy they added, because before this you had to use Google tools, which you should totally use the Google development tools anyways. But before that, that was the only way you could see this kind of interaction between your code and your live, in your live preview, I guess, online. So the next thing I'm going to cover now is the plugins in brackets, the things that I like most about brackets. I've got a list of my favorite ones. One of them is this handy little plugin called Beautify. Now, let me show you what I mean that makes Beautify so awesome. So let me see if I can make some really nasty looking code. You see, UL, that, and the li, li. Okay, that's pretty ugly. All right, now if I use Beautify over here, it's gorgeous. See that? That was magic. So that will do that with almost any code out there. It will do that with, see if I can get this to switch. It will do that with JavaScript. It will do that with HTML. Lots of fun stuff. Another one of the plugins that I really like, pull up my list, it's faster, is the brackets tree icons. So brackets tree icons, very simple. And it just adds these little graphics on the side. So a lot of text editors don't actually come with those. That is a plugin. Another plugin that I've added on the list for you to see is Minimap. So probably better if I just show you one of my actual programs here. Cancel. Okay, presentation. Don't save. All right, so here I have a longer piece of code, and you can see the Minimap function right here. That's a plugin. Allows you to scroll through your code much more easily than just doing this. It doesn't actually have a scroll bar. Normally, you have to use your toggle. Another little quick plugin, I think I only have 2 more, and then I'm done. Another quick plugin is the Lorem Pixel. I love Lorem Pixel. So basically what Lorem Pixel does is, if I go to my HTML here, and I click, let's say I want to add a pixel to one of my divs. Like not a pixel, sorry, a picture, like a random picture. You've all been there where you've had placeholder pictures, and sometimes you do like an octothorpe, sometimes you go online and you try to find something. This takes care of that. So you just click the Lorem Pixel icon over here, pick anything, fashion, anything, and then just insert at caret position, and there you go. You have a randomly generated picture based on fashion right where you wanted it. So that's extremely useful. That's the last that I'm going to go over for that. The one that I really wanted to show you was Emmet. So let me go ahead and delete my code and hopefully not save over it. So Emmet is a great plugin that gives you a lot of productivity functionality. So let me show you one thing that's really cool. You can do the boilerplate code like this. So just have one exclamation point, tab, and there's your boilerplate. So extremely useful there. Another thing about Emmet that's really cool is if you're trying to create, you know, say a div and a UL with 3 LIs, you could do this. And, oh, how did I do that? LI. And tab. And there you go. It instantly created my list. You can do the same thing. If you wanted to like go up a level, let me Control Z that. So if you wanted to go up a level, you'll just caret and you'll say, I want another UL and I want a couple more children LIs here. And then tab. So yeah, that's extremely useful. And there's a lot of other things that Emmet does. And for that purpose, I have linked for you all one of my favorite Emmet cheat sheets right here on Slack. And I've also linked to you the course that I took on Udemy that's completely free, and it will teach you everything about how to use Emmet, the productivity plugin, to increase your productivity. Very short, it's only 1.5 hours. Completely worth it. And before I leave you, there's one last thing. Here is an article on Brackets plugins, the top 25 rated all-time Brackets plugins. Look through these, find them if you like them. There's some good linters in here. And that's it. Thank you.